Hi, welcome back to another lesson, Jazz Piano Club. This week we are looking at a standard that's not that well known. I have done a PDF lead sheet for this, so you can grab that later on. There's details of how to do that at the end. But a few weeks ago I played this transcription, the Oscar Peterson transcription from that classic 1959 portrait of Frank Sinatra. So this week we're going to use the backing that I used for that video, an amazing app called Moises, to strip off the original piano and leave Ray Brown and Ed Thigpen playing bass and drums, and we're going to just break that down to see how that would be just playing along using this lead sheet, some simple left hand chords and the right hand melody. So let's get to it. So I'm looking at the lead sheet Saturday night. Now, if you don't have this yet, no problem. I would suggest you just watch this lesson, follow it through, and then you can get the lead sheet and the backing track that goes with this lead sheet. And the backing track is based on the Oscar Peterson trio arrangement back in 1959. It's a really great backing because you essentially get to play this piece with Ed Thigpen and Ray Brown. And the standard itself, it's not that well known. I haven't really come across it in any real books. So an opportunity for you to be able to play a standard that's not quite as well known, but it's very straight ahead. It's 32 bars. Here it's written out just with basic chord symbols, and we'll talk about those in a little while, and the melody. The first thing to notice is on this arrangement, there's a 4-bar introduction. You don't have to have a 4-bar introduction when you play this, but you'll notice that the melody, that B flat at the end of the first line, is kind of pushed. That's because on the backing, Ray Brown and Ed Thigpen just anticipate the first chord, which is a nice thing to do. But you don't have to do that, of course, when you're playing this. Just to double check, it says swing at the top, so we're getting this nice lilt to the melody. And the first thing would be to just simply play the melody with the backing track. So we're going to have a go at seeing what that sounds like. And I've got to count off the first 4 bars, starting with the bass, Ray Brown. That's bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4, and I'm going to anticipate the B flat. And I've got that swing. Now, if this is easy enough, you could double the left hand. I'd encourage you to play this pretty much as it is. If you want to add a few little grace notes, for example, you can. Stop it there. So that would be the first thing, to get familiar with the melody, and even just the melody and the bass. And that's a nice way of sometimes playing. Maybe when you're performing, you could just do a chorus without chords, maybe just in octaves. 2 octaves, incidentally, is quite nice distance apart. But the next step in adding to this melody is to add some left hand notes. And my advice would be to add thirds and sevenths to get going. Now that would certainly be true of dominant chords. So if I come across B flat 7, I could add the third and the dominant 7th either here or here. And if it was F minor, 3rd, 7th, or it might be 7th, 3rd. But I would try and smoothly move. I don't really want to go from this F minor to this B flat, or this F minor to this B flat. If you kind of feel you're running out of position, then you can reset at the beginning of a phrase, but I wouldn't have the left hand hopping around, but it does require a little bit more practice. Now for the tonic chords, that's the E flat at the beginning. You do have the option, I mean you could do 3rd and 7th, of playing the 3rd and the 6th, or even just a more basic 3rd and 5th if you wanted to, okay? So for the sake of keeping it logical, I'm going to add the 7th. So I'm going to just play a little bit. So E flat 7 here, remember you could do the 6, to B flat here, 7, to E flat, to B flat 7, to E flat, and then here D flat 7, I could go up, or I'm just there for the 3rd and 7th to the C7, and then F minor here, okay, 7th, 3rd, to C7 here, and I'm going to just play you a little bit of that so you can hear it. So here we go, with 3rds and 7ths. Straight in, bar 1, 2, 3, I'm going to start here, 3rd and 7th. Going down here to F minor, C7 there. Now here, C minor I'm going to do here. so on. Okay, so we'll stop there and we'll talk about that. So C minor, this is a tonic minor. It's not C minor 7. So I'd rather have just the basic C minor. When you listen to Oscar Peterson play this, he keeps it very simple, just a basic C minor with no extras. Could do C minor 6 here, and then a little bit of a stretch up to that G7. When I get back to the C minor in bar 14, I don't have to do anything as the bass goes down to the B flat, okay, and so on. So you could work your way through, and again, if I need to reset maybe at this point to come up for A minor 7, there's a flat 5 there, but that's on our next take, adding an extra note. So this is just 2 notes all the way through. And you can break this down, you might just do some left hand practice, right hand practice, but this version is 3 times through, so you get lots of opportunity to try. And then let's just wind it back to the beginning for our final version, adding an extra note to the 3rd and 7th, or the 3rd and the 6th. I'm going to choose this time, and this is a good reminder that when you see these chord symbols, you don't always want to just do the same thing. When you're practicing, it's good to structure it. So if you're going to practice around the cycle of fifths, always do, say, 6 chords or 6/9 chords, and that might be an option here. So E flat, 6/9, I could add the 9th. That's a really nice note to add. So I've got my 3rds and 7ths or 6s and an extra note. And the obvious extra note to always think about adding is the 9th, whether that's a major, 6/9, dominant, or minor. If I find these chords are encroaching on the melody here, I could just keep it a bit cleaner and do the melody an octave higher. Okay, so let's do this for this option. It's just a nice option in register. When you hear Oscar Peterson play this, he's up here in octaves. I did a video of this a few weeks ago, so you could check that out. It's interesting to see how he plays this version. It's kind of using a lot of the register of the piano. We're going to stick here. I'm going to add the 9th here. Now another option, the note to add, could be the 5th as well. If you want to keep it simple, then we could add the 9th on top of the 3rd and the 7th, so my voicings could often look like this, so it's quite nice to squish it in there. But you could also just add the 5th. You know, less is more sometimes. These left-hand chords don't always need to be overly complicated. And sometimes a lot of the melody notes incorporate these extensions. So sometimes when you see a lead sheet and you see these, like a G13, it's only because the 13th happens to be in the melody at that time. And actually then it wouldn't be that great to double it. Your choice might be better to choose a different note to get a nice balance of sound. So 6 and 9 here. I could just go straight to the B flat there. That's the 5th. Okay, back to the 6/9. When I get to that D flat, I might just add the root, the line here, and I hear this when Oscar Peterson plays it, it's just the tonic to the tonic. So that's my 3-note chord there. Could go down to F minor here. Well, if I add the 9th, interestingly enough, to the C7, the natural 9 sounds a bit kind of whole tony. So here, maybe the flat 9 would be a bit more appropriate. And if that's confusing or you're not sure what I'm talking about, then just go with the 5th for now. And again, when I get to bar 13, that C minor chord could just be fairly basic. C minor here to G7 here. I can keep that C minor here. This is interesting. C minor over B flat, same voicing. A minor, 7 flat 5, same voicing. Maybe changing to D7 here to G minor there. So this 3-note version, starting with the bass again, 4 bars in. I'm going to do a 6/9 to kick off. I'm going to have the octave higher in the right hand. Here we go. Just going to squeeze in the root there. F minor here. C minor here, G7 here. Keep the C minor shape. Same for the A half diminished, and so on. So on. So if that feels a bit kind of intense, then of course you can just take your time with that. You could add extra notes, you could have fuller voicings, 4-note voicings, but it's nice to keep it consistent when you're practicing. But when you're playing, it's nice to have different ways of playing the same chord. So you don't always do this for F minor 7. You might think about doing this or this. You've always got a lot of options, and that depends. Different pieces in different keys. What might sound okay here for D7 might sound a bit low for G7 or F7 down here. So it's good to have a few different options. So there you go, a few tips on left-hand chords, experimenting with the register. in the right hand. I'd stick pretty much to the melody. We're going to do a video on how to improvise over a standard like this in a couple of weeks. So for now, just getting used to basic left hand voicings. If you want to, of course, have a go at using this lead sheet to improvise, you can. The lead sheet is available. You just have to subscribe to the website. You can get details below. You can also get the really cool backing track I've been using today. That's an app called Moises that strips off various instruments. It's so cool. So I've taken off the piano and I've just got the bass and drums. And hopefully it's clear, the coda section at the end, you can follow that through. It's pretty much a 3-time ending. Let me just play you that as the last thing we'll do, and then I'll see you next time. We're going up to the 2nd time bar. Can you hear where we are? It's 4 bars before, that's F minor. So here we go, 2nd time bar. So basic C minor here. Keep that C minor shape, A flat, G minor, C. Now there's nothing here, so we can just wait. And then the last 4 bars. And we can count the end and play a nice E flat at the end. There you go. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that lesson. It's nice just to have that backing track, and you can grab that completely free as well as the PDF to Saturday night, so you can practice along just as I was kind of showing you in this lesson by, of course, heading to the website jazzpianoclub.com, subscribing completely free, and then you can grab a couple of really cool resources. As well as that, be really appreciated if you'd give this a like on YouTube, subscribe to this YouTube channel too, so you know when the next lesson is coming out at jazzpianoclub.com, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.